So one of the biggest questions this offseason for the Packers has been, when is Robert Tonyan going to return from his ACL tear? Looking back last year, goes down versus the Arizona Cardinals during a Week 8 matchup, tears his ACL, and I think that really hurt the Packers, their offense. Having a player like that, 6'5", that Rodgers can trust in the red zone, I think did hurt them the rest of the season going into the playoffs versus the 49ers as well. So the question is, when is he going to return from his injury? Because there's no doubt in my mind the Packers need as many weapons as they can out there, guys that Aaron Rodgers trusts. So a little earlier in this offseason, back in March, on March 11th, it came out here from Bill Huber of Sports Illustrated, and he said this: Tonyan had a clean tear of his ACL. Both sides are confident that he'll be ready for the start of the regular season and possibly even the start of training camp. So that's a few months back. They say that he should be ready. They're confident that he will be ready for the start of the regular season. And then yesterday, it came out here from David Lombardi, who covers the 49ers over there for The Athletic. And he says this: Packers tight end Robert Tonyan, who tore his ACL last season, was at tight end U running off on the side. He's expected to be ready for the 2022 season opener. So I want to show you this 7-second clip. It's just Robert Tonyan running on the side of this camp here, tight end camp. I believe it's George Kittle's camp, or at least George Kittle is there as well. Here it is. So all we saw there was Robert Tonyan running, and that's obviously great. It's better that he's running than if he's not running, so that's a positive. That doesn't mean necessarily he will be ready for the start of the season, but David Lombardi says that he is still expected to be ready for the start of the 2022 season opener. He probably has some kind of insight into that right now Tonyan seems like he's on pace to start the season, which I think is great news, no doubt great news for the Packers. And I want to look at Robert Tonyan and just how much Aaron Rodgers trusts him. A certain stat that I think we can look at to show just how good Aaron Rodgers has been when he targets Robert Tonyan. But first off, looking back to Robert Tonyan's insane, his year where he breaks out, comes in, dominates, 2020, 52 receptions, 586 yards, 11 touchdowns. A completely dominant season from Robert Tonyan. He comes in last year, 2021, in all the games before he goes down with that ACL tear in Week 8, 18 receptions, 204 yards, 2 touchdowns. So not quite as productive as his previous season, but still somewhat productive. Now here's the crazy stat. In 4 years playing for the Packers, when Aaron Rodgers targets Robert Tonyan, he has a passer rating of 145. So that's near perfect. That's a near perfect passer rating for Aaron Rodgers when he targets Robert Tonyan. So without Devontae Adams, the guy that I think Aaron trusts in more than any single player in the entire league, Robert Tonyan is a player that if he can come in Week 1, Rodgers has another player that he can trust. Just looking at how productive he has been in the past when he targets Robert Tonyan. So having Allen Lazard out there, a guy he can trust. Having Randall Cobb out there, a guy he can trust. Having Tonyan out there, if he's able to go when the season starts, another guy he can trust. So as players like Sammy Watkins, Christian Watson, Sammy Watkins, some of those rookies, some other players who Rodgers does not have the chemistry with at this point, he can trust on those guys early in the season, and then hopefully by the time the season ends, a guy like Christian Watson has hopefully built up that chemistry with Rodgers. So when the playoff comes around, Rodgers has weapons on weapons, which hopefully will be the case. So it is great news to see that Robert Tonyan still seems to be on track to start for the season opener, which will be in about, a month and a half to 2 months away from right now, which will put him about 9.5 to 10 months out of his ACL injury, which is around a time that lots of players in the NFL do come back from ACL tears. Lots of times it's anywhere from 9 months to 12 months. We've seen with David Bakhtiari, things have been a little more complicated there, and we're still hoping that he'll be ready to come in when the season starts as well. But that is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you haven't subscribed and you want to see more Packers content like this, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below. It definitely helps out the channel. So feel free, drop a like on the video, and I'll see you guys next time.